It's the story. Kanye is the story. Once again, the man will not be denied, people. He simply won't be denied. And he is there with the White Lives Matter shirts, and then he's there talking about how he's pro-life, and people are they're out of their heads. They have no idea how to react, and there's reactions from the right, and there's reactions from the left. The reactions from the left, by the way, some of the more bigoted things you will ever witness. And you got to ask yourself, is there a proper way to react to Kanye West? And the answer is kind of. And maybe it starts with, should you be reacting at all? Welcome to the show, everybody. Good to be with you. Presented by Americans for Prosperity, AmericansForProsperity.org. Now, it's Friday. It's Cigars and Solutions. As we do, look at that beautiful baby right there. This is the Timeless Limited. Boom. Let's give you a little shot of that right there. I stole that from Neptune Cigars. You can see it right there. They're not a sponsor, but you can get cigars from them. The Timeless Limited. So this is Ferio Tego. That's the name of the brand. Ferio Tego, Tego. Originally, this was Nat Sherman. And the Nat Sherman, I want to say that the Timeless, along with, they had the Metropolitan line and some others, they were really known for their cigarettes. And of course, they did cigars, and the cigars kind of went, I guess you could call them out of favor. And then Michael Herklotz really brought Nat Sherman back into the fold. And they were doing the Timeless, the Sterling, some other things. And then Nat Sherman got purchased, and they just wanted to keep that cigarette line. They got rid of the cigar line. Michael Herklotz, Herklots, he said, no, I'm going to start a cigar brand, and it's called Ferio Tego. And so with the Ferio Tego, he then brought back this, the Timeless, this 10-year, the limited right here. Man, it's a lovely smoke with this Maduro wrapper, which isn't super oily. By the way, it's actually a very simple wrapper. You can actually see some of the veining in there. That's not a problem. It's quite all right to have that. It's not like that's the enemy of your cigar. Don't be silly. That presents wonderfully, flavorfully, and I'm mixing it with coffee. Coffee is I know I put a little bit of cream in mine. Coffee is fantastic with a cigar. If it grows together, it goes together. And people forget that so often. And then there are cigars from different parts of the world where you can kind of match it up with different coffees based on what is referred to as the terroir. And so that's the flavor that the soil brings. This is, of course, big in the world of wine. What is it from different regions and different areas that's bringing these different flavors to the grape? It is the terroir. It is the soil there. So I happen to like this combination quite a bit. It's not burning perfectly, but I am outdoors. It's a little bit windy. It's a little bit chilly. But you know what? When in Rome, baby. That's so, hey, hope you have a cigar. Kanye, you've by now seen this. This was the photo that set the world ablaze. It's Candace Owens right there on the left. It's Kanye West, or is it Ye, or is it Yee, or is it Yeezy? I don't know. All I know is I can't afford his shoes. And White Lives Matter. And people went crazy. People went out of their heads. There were some people cheering, saying, good for you, because that's right. Every life matters. Remember when people used to say all lives matter? And I was like, how dare you, you bigot? And you're like, what? I should be clear about something, by the way. Black Lives Matter is an organization, is a Marxist organization and a grift. And they stole from people. People gave their money to the organization Black Lives Matter as a way of saying, please don't hurt me. Look, I'm good. Here, I'll write you a check. This comes from a long line of shakedown artists, starting with Jesse Jackson. Not only will I not apologize for this, there's a book about Jesse Jackson called Shakedown. This is a well-noted conversation. He went to businesses and said, look, if you can either support my organization or I can start a protest right in front of your building. You decide. That's a shakedown. That's who Jesse Jackson is. That's what he did when he wasn't, of course, referring to Jews in derogatory kinds of ways. Black Lives Matter as an organization engaged the same activities. And we know it was a grift because those who started it, whether it be Patrice Cullors or others, they ended up with multiple houses. Look, this is my take. You say you're going to take this money and do good. You end up with a couple of houses, and what good was done? Some relative ends up with millions of dollars in the bank, and what good was done? I don't know how you don't call that a grift. I don't know how you don't call it a lie. And the businesses and the individuals who gave to them, yeah, they got taken. They got taken. That's what happened. But a lot of businesses gave because they thought they were buying their freedom. They thought they could give to that organization and say, oh, well, look, we gave to Black Lives Matter. We're good people. Being a good person is being a good person. Giving to this group, that group, or the other group is not the way you denote being good. It's just not. That's a radical and super weird kind of thing to say. So there's the photo. You saw the photo. Well, the reactions to this were out of control. This was Joy Reid. It was put out by MSNBC, but you see it here, right? It's via the readout. The artist formerly known as Kanye West seems to be seeking out a legacy as a racist and a hate monger. Let him have it. Let him have it. Let him have what? What did he do? Wore a t-shirt? Went on with Tucker Carlson to say that he's pro-life? That's somehow being a hate monger? What a maddening thing to say. I responded on Twitter. Joy Reid really hates black people who don't conform to her demands of black people. The bigotry in response to what it is that these t-shirts and what Kanye said with Tucker Carlson, it's remarkable. Now, I have long engaged this conversation that for the political left, if you're black and conservative, you're not really black. And how do I know this is true? And I've been saying it for years. Joe Biden, in that conversation he had with Charlamagne the God, radio host, if you don't know if you're going to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. I didn't need any other proof than that, but there it was, and I appreciate the president, proving me correct. Once again, I talk about his policies. He shows how bad his policies are. Once again, I'm correct. If you are Jewish and conservative, you're not really Jewish, according to the left. If you're gay and conservative, you're not really gay. If you're Hispanic and conservative, you're not really Hispanic. Isn't it Sonny Hostin who just said that on The View the other day? I don't know how anybody who is Hispanic can vote for Republicans. You're really voting against your own best interest. I have been called a traitor. I'm Jewish and I'm a conservative. I have been called a traitor. I was going to say not in a nice way, but then I realized there's not necessarily a nice way to be called a traitor. So yeah, these things happen all the time, and this is always the case. This idea that because you look a certain way or you belong to a certain group, that you have to think a certain way. But of course, that's not the case. People think in all sorts of ways. They have their own minds. They think freely, just like they should. And this is unacceptable to the left, and especially Joy Reid. So I started off saying, how are you supposed to react to it? Now, right? Cigars and solutions. What's the solution? Who said anybody had to have a reaction? Doesn't anybody know anything about the Streisand effect? Oh, the Streisand effect. Okay. So Barbara Streisand, she had a house in Malibu. Hell, it could have been Santa Barbara, but what does it matter? She had a house on a cliff overlooking the ocean, a lot of money. That's what she did. And there were photos taken of her home because they were actually taking photos of soil erosion. And so they were taking photos of the seaside there from a drone. I assume at the time it was a plane. It could have been a drone. And one of the photos was Barbara Streisand's house. And Barbara Streisand was furious. She said, you take that down. That's a photo of my house. I don't want anybody to see that. You take it down. And what happened? Everybody wanted to see the photo. That's the Streisand effect. You try and get no one to notice, and therefore everybody notices. I think that there's a lot of that with Tipper Gore and when they were putting the labels on albums. You put a label on an album that says explicit lyrics, and all kids want to buy that album because they're like, this has explicit lyrics. I'm totally listening to that. I don't know if they said it in that way, but what can I say? I'm only working on being an actor. Now you've got people screaming and yelling about Kanye. People are like, well, what did he do? What did he say? And they're all going to look at it, and they're going to look at the fact that he's wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter. And most people are going to go, oh, marketing. I get it. It wasn't marketing? Stop. Oh, that is a very good cigar right there. The Timeless Limited from Ferry Otego. Of course it was marketing. Of course it was a way to get some attention. Of course it was a way for them to engage, moving a personal brand message. Now, there could have been a part 2 to it, which is they're sick and tired of hearing this nonsensical bigotry that's out there, and they wanted to engage differently. I appreciate that. I want that. I'm happy for that. Note, I'm not angry with Kanye or Candace at all. I would have no reason to be. They can wear any shirt that they like. But the idea that we have to react to it with some kind of cheering or someone has to react to it with anger, wouldn't Joy Reid have been better off not paying attention to it? But no, she wants him to get attacked. She wants him to get hurt. They canceled a concert of his. It was in California. I don't know, it was in San Francisco. Yeah, I think it was in San Francisco. I think that's where it was. They canceled a concert of his. Oh, no, we're not going to have you play here. Why not? I think it's going to make more people want to see him. People have noticed about Kanye that he's an odd dude. But every now and then he does something that really does move a fair amount of the psyche of culture America. You can't deny the effect that he's had. Can't do it. Then he goes on with Tucker Carlson. He talks about being pro-life, and he's got the sonogram, right? The ultrasound, not sonogram. The ultrasound photo of a baby. I'm proclaiming I'm pro-life. I don't have to hide from it. I don't have to worry about whether people like it or not. That's insignificant. And people are like, yes, that's absolutely right. Something that if you've been listening to the radio shows, when people scream that the political right, you want to take women back to the 50s and you want to take away their rights. Abortion kills something. Why are you so absolutely into that? There is not a Republican I've seen who has answered it in that way. Why are you so into killing? Weirdo. You're a weirdo. This dude's a weirdo. They don't say that. They don't know. It's like they don't know how to talk. It's ridiculous. Kanye does. Kanye, it's very clear, knows how to talk. And it's not that you agree with everything he says, which is why I find sometimes the reaction from the political right so weird. You can listen to him, you can talk to him, you can engage with him. I think that's all super smart. That Tucker sat down with him was a great idea, and a solid interview, by the way. But it is not that you have to now all of a sudden decide that Kanye is your best friend. You can be like, that was cool, and then move on with your day. You don't need to have a level of insane reaction saying he's the greatest thing in the world. You can like a thing and then just move on. The left could have said, I disagree, and moved on, or said nothing, which would have been smarter. But no, the left went down the road of he's a hate monger. I mean, check this out again. Check this out from Joy Reid. Kanye West seems to be seeking out a legacy as a racist hate monger. The pro-life guy? No. Margaret Sanger was a racist hate monger. The precursor to Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger. She's the one who made that happen. Would you say she was the mother of Planned Parenthood, or does that lead to its own very, very off-color joke? You don't always have to react. You can just go, huh, and move on with your day. You can then utilize it later in smaller conversations, private conversations. That seems rational. Not everything has to be, I have to put it out on social media and scream and yell. And the reason I think that's important is because the left, the political left, always overplays their hand. Every single time. Doesn't matter the subject. It doesn't matter even if they're right. They will overplay it so they're wrong. They don't know how to stop. They don't know how to get control of themselves. They don't know how to focus. They have absolutely no clue how to do it. So they overplay their hand and they end up looking silly. Or like Joy Reid, really nasty bigoted, because Joy Reid looks really nasty bigoted in this. I don't mind the White Lives Matter shirts. I think anybody who understands and admits openly what a scam Black Lives Matter, the organization, is doing us all a favor. The more we note this and the more we exclude them from the conversation, the better off we all are, because they're running a grift and they're not part of important, valuable conversation in the country. I don't think you have to now say, oh, Kanye, he's the best. I got to go out and buy the slides. You can't afford the slides. You can't afford the slides. What are you kidding? I'm trying though. Although they do not look attractive at all. Sorry, Yi. The slides don't look good, man. The shoes are interesting. But the slides, I don't. Hey, you know what? I don't have to agree with everything. You see how that works? Just like that. Guys, I appreciate you being here, and my thanks to the good people at Americans for Prosperity, AmericansForProsperity.org. Good people, check them out and see where they are near you. Be a part of what it is they do. Free speech, economic liberty, man, how can you go wrong? And of course, the Timeless Limited from Ferry Otego. Damn good smoke. You're going to love it. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be here a while. I'll catch you guys later. Take care.